Hello and welcome to Module 4 of Classical Theory. As we have come to the end of the third module, reading and discussing Adam Smith and Immanuel Kant, major 18th century European philosophers of the Enlightenment, we will be moving next to two apparently disparate figures, both on the margin of the classical theory canon, though in different ways. Olympe de Gouges, a remarkable woman, especially for her time, the 18th century, a French feminist thinker and activist, and Cesare Beccaria, major Italian classical criminologist, with long-lasting influence in penology, the American Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the American criminal justice system. Let me just make here a few opening remarks. There are not many women who have left an imprint in classical theory. The latter represents a mostly European tradition around a white male canon. Allow me to make a parenthesis here. Despite the educational and legal obstacles to women's education and employment, there have been exceptional women in the history of social thought, whose extraordinary work has been, quote-unquote, discovered only in the later part of the 20th century, and who have left their mark in social theory. A similar argument can be made about non-European, non-Western social thinkers, whose work is little known among Western social thinkers and sociologists. A social theory outside the canon, a social theory from the world's south. For those of you who are starting to like social theory, I suggest taking a look at contemporary well-known social theorist Rae Wynne Connell and her work on Southern theory. In it, Connell is making a case for a new world social science that is more global and democratic, including voices from outside the dominant European and North American tradition. I will close this parenthesis here by saying that in this course, due to approved curriculum, but also time and space constraints, we are focusing on the classical theory canon, with a few exceptions from outside. We are also strongly recommending, however, that you go outside in search of this rich diversity of voices in social theory from around the world. Read Olympe de Gouges with these remarks in mind. Discover the exceptional individual she was, both in terms of her educational achievements, completely self-educated, from humble origins, but especially her ideas and political activities to realize them, an even rarer combination of theory with praxis. Olympe de Gouges was a public intellectual in the Enlightenment tradition and a passionate advocate for human rights. She was an abolitionist, that is, she was against slavery and for women's rights, calling on women to wake up, discover and demand the rights. She wrote the Declaration of the Rights of Woman and Citizen as a counterpoint to the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, the classic text approved by the National Assembly of France in the beginning of the French Revolution. She took the ultimate penalty for her activism, execution, during the French Revolution, for being a counter-revolutionary, but also an unnatural woman. Cesare Beccaria was an Italian jurist, philosopher, law reformer, politician, academic, classical criminologist, and the founder of the field of penology, that is, the study of punishments. He is also associated with the Enlightenment tradition as a member of the Milan Enlightenment. His treatise on crimes and punishments advocated revolutionary ideas for his time. He was against torture, against the death penalty, against secrecy and the arbitrary power of judges, against inequality and inconsistency in sentencing. He had ideas about human nature as being rational and therefore capable of learning and reforming. As a result, he considered education rather than harsh punishment as being a major vehicle to lessen crime. His theory of punishment and of the relationship between crime and punishment are widely accepted to our days. His book had enormous influence and has been translated into many languages. I hope I whet your appetite sufficiently to continue the work on these two theories by reading further and doing the work of Module 4. Until next week, thank you.